tonight, struggling to gain access. Why rural Wisconsin is having a hard time getting their hands on the COVID vaccine.
And on again, off again. A weird day in Wisconsin over the state's mask mandate. We have the latest developments.
Plus, vaccinations for kids. What parents need to know ahead of the vaccine being available to younger generations.
From CBS 3 Duluth, this is the CBS 3 News at 6.
Good evening, I'm Kristen Bakke.
And I'm Anthony Matt. Thanks for joining us tonight. As Wisconsin scrambles to get shots into arms, smaller vaccination sites across the state are struggling to get doses of the coronavirus vaccine delivered.
Stella Porter reports on a chain of independent pharmacies which has not received any doses despite multiple requests.
As fast as they can make them, I want to get them in people's arms.
Hometown Pharmacy says its stores requested more than 2,000 doses of the COVID-19 vaccine last week. They received almost 1,200 doses. Pharmacist Kent Udelich owns the Plover location.
It is frustrating just because people want it, and I'm really eager to get people vaccinated.
Clinical Director Abby Lindy says many locations are waiting.
We had lots of stores that were denied vaccine that are ready to give vaccine.
DHS says because the supply is low, they're getting it out to larger, more urban clinics that show they can vaccinate many people.
Trying to center it in places that could get vaccine out, and also because it's very difficult for us to make that many deliveries for very small quantities of vaccine.
It makes sense. There are less deliveries that they have to do, right? But a lot of our pharmacies are in rural communities.
Right now, they're not sending it to locations asking for fewer than 50 doses a week.
In this store, I'm hoping to do about 100 shots a week, about 20 a day.
Lindy says hometown pharmacies may form a hub model to make larger orders. And the Biden administration said Tuesday it would send doses directly to pharmacies.
Ultimately, that will be another source of vaccine for several of our locations that will hopefully be in addition to the vaccine that the state is allocating.
Lynn said they haven't received any specific plans from the federal government about the doses or a timeline of when they may be coming to the state.
A lot of back and forth in Wisconsin today regarding the state's mask mandate. Just an hour after Wisconsin Republicans revoked it, Governor Tony Evers put it back in place. The state's GOP-controlled legislature today repealed both the mask mandate and the state's emergency declaration. Evers reissued that as well. The Wisconsin GOP has said the mandates are government overreach. Evers blasted Republican lawmakers, accusing them of playing politics with people's health. He says they've obstructed the state's efforts to save lives and prevent the spread of the pandemic.
We know that wearing face coverings can save lives and prevent death. We know it's supported by science and the CDC, and we know it's supported by more than 40 statewide organizations.
Evers says a state survey shows 72% of Wisconsinites agree people should wear masks in public. Lawmakers can vote again to repeal the new orders. If they do, it would make Wisconsin one of only 10 states without a mask mandate.
Democratic Senator Janet Bewley, who represents much of northwest Wisconsin in Madison, reacted to the back and forth today, saying GOP lawmakers aren't taking public health into consideration.
My Republican colleagues feel that it is more important to get into a debate about who has the authority to do this sort of thing.
Senator Bewley also says Republicans are using the mask mandate repeal to distract from their lack of a COVID action plan. And a reminder, the Superior City Council just put the city's local mask mandate back in place this week for this very reason. Mayor Jim Payne added that to the agenda last minute. He says as a local leader, he wants to keep his community protected.
The city of Superior is still going to be here to protect its residents as best we can, and we're going to be taking the lead and working with our partners at Douglas County and the state of Wisconsin to make sure that we do everything we can to keep people safe.
Superior's old mask mandate expired in September, but will now last until the city's new emergency orders expire on April 30th. The rule goes into effect on Monday.
Let's head on over to Dave now for a quick look at the weather. Dave, us in Minnesota have received the extent of our snow. Now we get to brace for the cold.
That's pretty much it, except for a few flurries. Minnesotans are probably done with the snow, but it will linger longer for Wisconsin and the UP, so we still have some advisories and some straight-up warnings to talk about. Tip of the Arrowhead in Minnesota, winter weather advisory. The western parts of Wisconsin, still in winter weather advisory there until 6 o'clock tomorrow morning. And then for the snowbelt along the South Shore into the UP from the Bayfield Peninsula, still a winter storm warning until Friday, 6 o'clock in the morning. I'll show how much more snow I'm expecting us to get in just a bit. But first, we'll show you the latest satellite and radar map here, which shows our twin lows still working through the area and still bringing snows to the South Shore. So there's a little bit more coming until things do start the cooling process tomorrow. Thursday night tonight in Minnesota, in Duluth, we could drop to 5 below and then have a daytime high of only 6 above. That's the start of a cold snap that could be with us for an entire week. I'll show you how low those temps will go with the full 7-day forecast in just a few more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. From what we know right now, the general public will have to wait several months before receiving the COVID-19 vaccine. But while we wait, parents may have questions about if their kid should get vaccinated. CBS 3's Emma Quinn spoke with pediatric medical professionals about what you need to know ahead of time.
As with everything during the pandemic, the vaccine, its rollout, and its side effects have been a learning process. That will also hold true when it's kids' turn to be vaccinated.
We do need to wait for guidelines from the CDC and the state departments of health about COVID vaccine for children.
Essentia Health medical experts say they don't know much about the vaccine's impact on children just yet, but typical vaccine side effects are soreness or swelling at the site of injection, and fevers are to be expected.
That's a sign that the body's actually doing its job and making the right cells, the right antibodies to fight the infection.
While we wait for more information and to know where kids will be classified in priority groups, Essentia Health say they're seeing less kids come in for early checkups and routine vaccinations since the start of the pandemic.
And so we saw a lot of fear and about going in for regular checkups and visits, and we were doing a lot of those things virtually.
Experts want to remind parents getting those routine vaccinations are important in preventing the spread of other outbreaks like measles or hepatitis.
So that's one of the big fears amongst people that care for children, is that we're going to have a measles outbreak on top of our pandemic.
According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, routine vaccines for children can include influenza, tetanus, measles, and chickenpox.
New at 6, Duluth middle and high school students could be in a hybrid learning model by next month.
Superintendent John Magus announced the proposal during a school board meeting happening right now. Duluth's middle and high schoolers have been distance learning since March when the pandemic first started. Now he says state and local health officials have given the initial go-ahead for hybrid learning.
As the proposal stands now, 6th, 9th, and 12th graders could be hybrid learning the week of March 8th. 7th, 8th, 10th, and 11th graders would return the week of March 15th. Distance learning would still be an option.
Magus says the state requires Duluth to be in a hybrid model for these students before moving to distance learning.
Now, this is just a proposal at this time, and it's not exactly clear when it could be finalized.
We'll have much more and hear from Superintendent Magus tonight at 10. Nursing home residents in Cloquet are hoping to make a statement by getting the COVID-19 vaccine. People living at Sunnyside Healthcare Center could get the shot today. They were each asked why and wrote their answers down on a whiteboard. The goal was to show the wide variety of reasons people are choosing to get vaccinated. Shirley Larson just turned 75 and said everyone should be smart and get the shot.
Go ahead and get it done. Don't worry what anyone else tells you. Do what your brain says.
Larson received her second dose of the vaccine today.
Vaccine outreach in Itasca County has become a big topic for area hospitals there. During a virtual update this morning, health leaders encouraged residents to reach out and contact their healthcare provider. They say that way it'll be easier to know when you're eligible to get a COVID-19 vaccine. If you don't have a healthcare provider, they say it will be helpful to connect with one. Itasca County hospital leaders say they want to do everything they can to help the most vulnerable Minnesotans.
You know, we're really trying to make sure we're reaching this population. You know, we want to make sure that everyone's included and has access to a vaccine when it's available.
As for schools in Itasca County, principals and coaches say they're happy to have most of their kids back in the classroom, and so far everything has been going well.
A teenager charged in the death of another teenager on the Fond du Lac Reservation last December has pleaded not guilty. 18-year-old Joseph Forencam is charged with second-degree manslaughter in the death of 16-year-old Joseph Peterson. It happened on December 28th. Authorities say several people had been drinking in a parked pickup truck that night. Witnesses say Forencam had been waving a gun around. At some point, the gun went off, shooting Peterson in the head. There was no arguing leading up to it. Forencam was on the run for 9 days before he was arrested. He's due back in court next month.
Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, the pandemic is impacting single parents more than others. We explain why and how to cope coming up.
Well, here's a sneak preview of what's going on snow total-wise. I'll show you that in more depth in just a little bit. But the first thing I want to show you is how the roads are shaping up in our area. That's coming up in a little bit as well. We'll have all of that fired up for you coming up right after our break.
Join us weeknights for Live at 5 as we go around the Northland city by city.
Welcome to Medical Insight, a weekly healthcare feature brought to you by the experts at Essentia Health. Here's your host, Louis St. George.
Today on Medical Insight, Essentia Health orthopedic surgeon Jefferson Davis talks about treating troublesome feet and ankles, which could involve using a joint or complete reconstruction.
Obviously, we walk every day, and we're on our feet most of the days, most of us are, and a lot of these people have disabling pain that they just can't deal with. Our bodies aren't made to last forever. They wear out, tendons wear out, the tendons that hold up our arches wear out, our feet get flat, some with time. People have sporting injuries, twist their ankle, rupture their ligaments. Those sometimes need to be reconstructed. I see quite a few people for flat foot, progressive flat, their arch has fallen, they're having increasing pain. I see a lot of people for what they call Haglund's deformity, or a bump on their heel that's rubbing on their Achilles tendon and causing a lot of pain in their heel. I also see a lot of people for ligament instability of their ankle.
Dr. Davis says technology has made the procedures he performs much more precise.
They are computer guided in that we take a CT of the ankle before we do the ankle replacement. We send it away and they make specialized jigs that just fit onto that person's anatomy, and that enables us to put pins in exact places, take those jigs off and put on the regular cutting blocks that we cut the bone with, and it cuts it very precisely. It's better than anything when you have a patient that's happy and has had a good result, that there's no replacement for that. So yeah, that's why I do this.
For Medical Insight, I'm Louis St. George.
To learn more about this and other health topics, visit essentiahealth.org/medicalinsight.
Out with the old and in with the new. Kiss 2020 goodbye with new windows and doors from Renewal by Andersen. Renewal by Andersen is celebrating the new year with 21% off your window and door project, including installation. Plus, receive an additional $600 off your entire project. With no money down, no payments, and no interest financing for 12 months, it's like getting free windows for a year. Call before February 28th to book your free no-contact virtual consultation or visit us at northlandrba.com.
What's up with you, Mom? Out of nowhere, you quit your job last month and want to talk about it? It's complicated.
Whoever told you that life would be easy, I promise that person was lying to you.
This new side gig of yours is raising questions the CIA don't want asked.
I don't work for them anymore.
What are you? Some kind of ex-cop?
I'm the one you call when you can't call 911.
Watch The Equalizer, Sunday after the Super Bowl on CBS.
CBS 3 News is brought to you by Fond du Lac Casino. CBS 3 Weather is brought to you by Heritage Window and Door. Now, the CBS 3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Well, as promised, here's a look at the road conditions around our region in the wake of snow that's come through for some towns and still sticking around for others. In much of Minnesota, it was pretty light, so good driving conditions, except up the North Shore a little bit out of Silver Bay, and Highway 1 then up towards Ely, and then 169 towards Cook, and then 53 up around towards International Falls. In Wisconsin and Michigan, all the roads have a few slippery spots here and there, but road crews are working hard to keep up with that. But just be careful as you're driving around. Here's a look at the preliminary snow totals so far. Hayward seems to have the most so far at 5.5 inches. Two Harbors 4.5, Superior 4, Ashland 3.5. Iron River and Hermantown are tied there with 3.5, and Mattawa and Moose Lake are tied with 2 inches. So not much in Minnesota, and more to come for parts of Wisconsin and the UP. Lake influence for the snowbelt could bring things up towards a foot once we get into perhaps Saturday morning. Current temperatures, let's eye those up. Still warm for the UP in the 20s. Still teens and 20s for northwestern Wisconsin, but Minnesota numbers holding on to the teens here as you get farther off to the east. But to the west, we're already dropping to 8 above in International Falls, and that's a sign that that cold snap is really set to slide into our region as soon as this low pressure conglomeration gets out of the picture, and that should happen by tomorrow morning. We've got a low to the north and a low to the south, and they're connected by a trough of lower pressure in between, and that trough is still creating snow from the Bayfield Peninsula through the Upper Peninsula, and that's where folks still have a chance for getting some more precip here, of course, as the two low pressure systems work through. By tomorrow afternoon, the cold will come. How much snow will we have when that happens? Well, I think much of Minnesota is going to wind up in the 1 to 3 inch range. Up north, in the tip of the Arrowhead through much of Wisconsin, 4 to 6 range. And then again for the snow belt from the Bayfield Peninsula through the Upper Peninsula, could be 6 to 12 there for winter sports enthusiasts to get out and enjoy if they bundle up, because it is going to be cold. That Arctic outbreak is going to take over the upper Midwest this Friday and last through next Friday. And on top of that, this weekend, we'll have winds going towards 20 miles an hour. We'll have actual cold air temperatures and a wind chill factor to worry about, too. Tonight, maybe not so bad tonight. In Minnesota, low temps should go from 10 below inland to 0 by the lake with a mostly cloudy sky. In Wisconsin and Michigan, still a 30% chance your town could get a little more snow with low temps 0 to 2 above. The warmest we'll see in a spell. Tomorrow's high temps, Wisconsin, Michigan, 6 to 9 above. Mostly cloudy in Wisconsin, but lake effect could continue for the UP. That's why folks there might end up with a foot by the time this takes off. Mostly cloudy Minnesota tomorrow with highs from 3 to 10 above for now. Because take a look at the extended forecast. Saturday morning, Twin Ports starts at 15 below. Sunday morning's 25 below, 20 below Monday and Tuesday morning. Then still below 0 next Wednesday and Thursday. Daytime highs 0 or 3 above if you're lucky. And again, these are Twin Ports numbers with the protective coating of the lake there to worry about, or actually to hope for, because it'll be even colder farther inland coming up tonight at 10. We'll talk more about this cold snap and when we can hope for things to start to warm up again.
Thanks, Dave. Well, the cold weather is especially difficult for people experiencing homelessness. Warming centers in the Twin Ports are preparing to see an influx of people. Ruth House in Superior provides a variety of services to people who need help. Especially during the cold season, people rely on them for a warm place to stay, a shower, and to do laundry. They normally see around 15 people every day, but they're expecting upwards of 30 people this upcoming week. They're extending their hours to make sure no one is out in the dangerous cold.
Just call, knock on the door. Like I say, normal time of check-in is 8 to 10, but when these cold snaps like that, you know, if you need to get someplace warm, come here. We will not turn you away.
If you would like more information about the resources Ruth House has to offer or ways to help out, we have a link on our website, CBS3Duluth.com. And coming up tonight at 10, we hear how Chum in Duluth is also preparing for the cold.
Dealing with the pandemic is hard for any family, but for single parents, it can be extra stressful.
CBS 3's Leanne Valdez shares ways to help one-parent households thrive in this week's Eye on Parenting.
Parenting during COVID-19 isn't easy. If you're a single parent, it can be downright overwhelming.
I think there's probably a lot of anxiety in terms of economic stress and these sorts of things.
A national survey of parents with children under the age of 5 found that single parents with young children are more likely to become unemployed during the pandemic, and nearly twice as many single parents are struggling to pay for food, housing, and utilities. 3 times as many single parents report difficulty affording childcare, and single parents report higher levels of emotional distress. So what can you do if you're running the show on your own? Experts say go back to the basics. Realize you're in survival mode and focus on making sure your kids eat, sleep well, and exercise every day. Relax screen time rules if it will help you out.
Maybe that is having a bubble bath late at night, or reaching out to a friend who you haven't talked to, or another single mom potentially, where you can feel that you can connect and relate to one another.
Also remember to be kind to yourself and your children. This is an uncertain time for everyone.
Researchers found that children in single-parent households also report higher overall levels of distress.
Coming up in sports, big news surrounding the winter sports state tournaments, plus a preview of the UMD men's basketball series this weekend. All this and more coming up right after the break.
Move snow with your new John Deere from Duluth Lawn and Sport.
CBS 3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
Whatever your water worry, Culligan Water can help. With over 40 filtration systems, including the world's best softener, no one filters more than Culligan Water. The only water that comes with a van. Contact Culligan, the local water experts.
Even if you don't smoke, smoking-related illnesses cost you $593 every year. See how much we're all missing at missingitmn.org.
What's your favorite day of the week? Well, it could become Thursdays at Fond du Lac Casino. Every Thursday through March 25th, it's Kiosk Cash with up to $88,000 in cash and prizes available. Qualified Players Club members can play the game at the kiosk to receive up to $500 in cash. And you can participate up to 3 times each Thursday. For more details, stop by the Players Club or log on to FondDuluthCasino.com. Thursday Kiosk Cash gives you another reason to have a great time out at Fond du Lac.
Fairview has expanded options to access your own physician. You can be seen in person, and we would encourage you to do so if that's recommended by your provider. We also have telephone and virtual visits available, as well as e-visits. Certainly it is safe to come into our clinics or our emergency room if that is needed, and we've got enhanced safety measures to keep you safe when you do come. We do want patients to feel comfortable to receive the care that they need when they need it.
Fairview Range, we're here. I'm Caitlin, and I'm into nursing. We have small class sizes, so we actually get to know each other, know our instructors. All of the faculty at Lake Superior College, they're here to help you succeed and choose the right path.
This Valentine's Day, Numi Jewelers is featuring 3 ways to a woman's heart. A real rose trimmed in pure 24-karat gold that lasts forever. An 18-inch freshwater pearl necklace and a box of chocolates, all for $99. True love is guaranteed at Numi Jewelers.
Attention oxygen therapy users.
I was on oxygen tanks, and I couldn't go anywhere and do much of anything. I didn't dare go far.
It's time to reclaim your independence with an Inogen One oxygen concentrator.
I got my life back. I really love my Inogen.
Inogen makes its own oxygen from the air around you, so you'll never worry about running out of oxygen again.
Do I think Inogen is worth the money? It's worth every single penny of it.
Call now for your free information kit.
I'm taking you around your neighborhood, telling the stories that need to be told. Join me, Leanne Valdez, as we celebrate Black History Month in the Northland.
Join us weeknights for Live at 5 as we go around the Northland city by city. Join us weeknights for Live at 5 as we go around the Northland city by city.
With high school sports back into the swing of their regular seasons, our focus will soon shift to postseason play. In Wisconsin, that starts as soon as next week. But in Minnesota, things look much different. The MSHSL Board of Governors solidified their plans for winter state tournaments today, and they don't start for a while. The earliest state tournament is alpine skiing, which is on March 10th. The boys hockey tournament isn't until the first weekend of April, followed by boys and girls basketball the next weekend. An exciting day for lots of athletes, knowing the biggest prize is still out there, including Duluth Marshall, who was robbed of an opportunity in the state semifinals due to COVID-19.
It's unfinished business, so
we are just going to, with that motivation, I feel like it's going to help us just like work even harder than we have before.
Together again, Jesse Jocks and Cole Koepke certainly know well how to play well together. They once occupied the same line at Hermanton High School. Now they occupy the same line in Bulldog jerseys. Cole and Jesse, along with Tanner Latteroo, have found a good amount of success on UMD's second line. Together, Cole and Jesse have connected for 4 goals this season. So what's the biggest difference playing together on the same line in college versus high school?
The overall level of the game in high school, we were kind of just scoring a lot, I'd say. And now college, it's just the competition is maybe more equal and just everyone's older.
I mean, Cole's the fast guy, good shot. I'm just kind of the playmaker, giving him the puck, let him do his thing.
COVID-19 is starting to take hold in the NHL. 4 teams are currently out, including the Wild, who have 7 players currently on the COVID-19 list. So today they're putting in additional health and safety protocols. The glass panels behind the bench are being removed. Players will not be allowed at arenas more than 2 hours before game time, and lockers must be spaced out 6 feet apart. It's been a learning year so far for the UMD men's basketball team. The squad is coming off perhaps its toughest stretch this season as they face the #2 team in the country, Northern State, last weekend, and 6-2 MSU Moorhead the previous weekend. But this weekend, the team has a chance to turn things around, facing a Minnesota Crookston squad that they have beaten 11 out of their last 14 meetings. Head coach Justin Wick admits it's been tough as of late, but that hasn't affected his team's confidence.
Always having that one eye on the excitement about where we're going as a program with all these young guys. But again, it's never easy to go through it kind of on a day-by-day basis. So just continuing to stay positive, continuing to understand what we're doing, and really having that belief that if we do it together, if we share the ball on offense and play some defense together, we've got a chance to win this year, any single night.
Well, that's all for sports. Kristen, Tony, back to you.
All right, thanks, Neil. Well, the Duluth Transit Authority paid tribute to a civil rights icon today.
Rosa Parks famously didn't give up her bus seat to a white man in 1955. So in honor of Transit Equity Day and what would have been Rosa Parks' birthday, the DTA held a special tribute. They held a ceremonial ride on the number 11 bus. There was a picture of Parks on one of the seats with the message, "Today, this seat honors Rosa Parks." Parks would have been 108 years old today.
All right, Dave, let's get just a last look at the weather. When are we expecting that cold?
Well, it's already cooling in northwestern Minnesota, so it'll take a few hours to work into the rest of the area. Duluth and Superior, for example, could be down to 5 below tomorrow morning. In between, there's still a chance for snow tonight for Wisconsin and the UP. Could add up to a couple more inches, especially in the snow belt. Then Friday will be mostly cloudy, mostly dry for most of us, except for some lingering snow showers for the Upper Peninsula. High temp 6 above might be the hottest we see for the next week, because then the cold comes in earnest. Twin Ports numbers. Morning lows 10 to 25 degrees below zero, colder inland all the way through next Thursday.
Thanks for joining us.